Well, welcome to another episode of The Secret Sauce. We're sitting down with Dan Frank today, agent, realtor extraordinaire of the Remax Advantage Plus brand. So thanks for joining us today.
My pleasure.
So glad to have you here.
Thank you for the
You
opportunity.
can pick your brain and figure out, let's just start right off the bat.
Yeah.
How did you find your way to the real estate business?
Kind of unexpectedly.
Oh!
Yeah, I really didn't wake up one day and say, hey, I'm going to be a realtor. I actually woke up one day when I was 5 years old and said, I'm going to be a pilot. I'm going to be an airline pilot, and that's kind of the route I took. Growing up, I was like an aviator. I was obsessed. If you saw me as a kid, I was always going like this.
Obsessed with flight.
Yeah, you know, what kind of airplane is that? This or that.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, none of my family was members were pilots, but I was just obsessed with it, and that's the path I took. You know, I went the aviation route and became an airline pilot, and that's what I thought I was going to do.
I did not know that about you. How come I
Yeah.
did not know that?
You know, I don't know. I did it for many years. Well, like 7-8 years,
Okay,
as professionally as an airline pilot.
okay.
You know, so that was my goal, and I accomplished my goal, and then I figured out, well, what's going to be the next? You know, what's next? I'm sitting there in the airplane. I'm like, is this really it? You know, I'm sitting there, you know, flying with guys and gals that are, you know, 10, 20 years older than me.
Yeah.
That are captains. I'm, you know, a young pilot, first officer, co-pilot, first officer.
Yeah.
And I quickly realized I don't want to, in 10, 20 years, I don't want to be like these people that are next to me. Because it was all number based. It's all,
Oh,
as a
yeah.
pilot, you're a seniority number,
Yeah,
you know, and I wanted more than that.
you were just a number.
I was just a number.
You realized you had the realization.
Yeah,
you're gonna just be
yeah.
a
I love to
number.
fly, but when you're doing it for a living, you're really just, no matter how good of a pilot you are or how smooth your landings are, it doesn't matter. You're filling a seat and you're just a number. And if you leave, there's another number that's going to move up, and I didn't want to be a part of that. So that kind of got me into the real estate side of things. I had a rental property, and I wanted to kind of keep acquiring rental properties.
Oh, there you go.
So that kind of spawned, hey, might as well get my real estate license.
Exposed you to that process
Yeah.
by having those properties. And
Right.
Very interesting.
Yeah, so figured, hey, I might as well get access to the MLS and get my license, and then met with Ryan O'Neill and Remax, and that was, what, 11, 12 years ago?
Well, so you've been doing it for that long too. Oh,
Yeah,
awesome.
don't remind me.
I love that. I love that mindset of, you know, you sitting there and having that realization that I need more.
Yeah.
Like, I need to do something that's going to really fulfill me. Where you figured at that point, this wasn't.
Yeah,
Okay.
and I think it's important for everyone watching to think about that. You know, what are you doing today? What is fulfilling? Is it fulfilling like your soul? Like,
Yeah.
you know, or if it's not, don't be afraid to take action and try other things.
Right.
You know, life's too short to do anything else.
Absolutely.
Life's too short to do nothing.
Right.
You know, people think, oh, life's too short, I can't do all these things. But it's too short to do nothing.
Yeah.
You
You
know.
got to take that first step.
You got to take action.
Yeah, you do have to take
Yeah.
action. That is so true. And act on those dreams.
Yes.
Even if they're not goals yet, act on those dreams. Like you said, do something that's setting you on the course
That's
to
100%.
send it, you know, to send your focus this way. And,
Yep.
you know, I think it's really important too to really know yourself, right? And what's in your wheelhouse. Like, you obviously are people, help, caring, you know, you want to see people succeed, right? And do something else to help them achieve goals.
Right.
Because people buying houses, they're getting their home.
Right?
Big, huge deal, right?
Yep.
So, yeah, no, I'm sure you were an excellent pilot.
I
But
enjoyed
you'd
it.
probably better, maybe you wanted to be back there talking to people more than,
Yeah, you
more
know.
than driving the.
Yeah, I love to do it for fun, but you know, once that cockpit door closes, you know, it was great.
You're pretty isolated, but yeah.
Yeah, it was great flying the airplane, but once the door opens, then it's okay. It's a job, you know. It's like, yeah.
Right. Do you have a plane now that you?
I don't. I
Okay.
don't. I fly every now and then with friends, or I can rent an airplane and
Okay.
go fly around.
Okay.
Yeah, but
That's awesome.
maybe someday.
That's such a great thing to know about you. I did not know that. I did not know that. What do you think is the biggest factor that has helped you be successful?
The biggest factor is when I first got my real estate license, going from aviation to real estate, I looked at, what are some of these top agents and realtors doing that's making them successful? And then my intention was to just emulate, what are these
Yeah.
other agents doing? So I sat down with some top agents and said, hey, I'm new to the business. What would you recommend? What are you doing? And there was a guy, an agent down in, I think, Kansas City, Missouri. I don't know if he's still an agent, big agent, sold a lot of houses.
Wow.
And he would have these billboards on the highway, not like this.
That we're all familiar with.
Right, they're kind of the opposite of that. And they said he had a team. And it said, we're not number one, you are. And
I love that.
and that stuck with me. I'm like, okay, they obviously focus on the consumer,
Yes, the people.
the people being number one. And as an agent with Remax and the team, we have the numbers to back up, being number one in terms of sales. But it's the transaction is about the people. So I've always focused on the consumer and putting myself in their shoes when communicating. And
Oh, that is so awesome.
so there was that number one, focusing on people as number one, and also in addition to what people are doing good, what are people not doing good? What are agents not doing good? And the number one complaint I had found at that time was communication. I don't hear from my agent. I want to see houses, but I'm not hearing. I'm losing out on opportunities. So, as long as I learned to put people first and then communicate well and fast, and then that's it. That's really.
But those are such huge, the people thing and the communication thing. I mean,
Yes.
if something goes wrong, it's typically because the communication was bad.
100%.
Was either over, or not enough,
Right.
or not at all,
Or didn't even exist.
or didn't even exist.
Yeah.
And that's really, I feel like that's what people want. They just want to be informed.
They want to be informed.
You don't have to tell them the whole
Nope.
thing, but just make them feel comfortable, build that trust by that consistent communication.
Yep.
Which sounds like exactly what you subscribe to,
Yeah.
It's like, that's awesome. I love that.
Yeah, that's and also people just want to be heard. Like as an agent, when I send out, even among agents, when I send out an offer, it's,
Yeah.
I always say, please confirm receipt, and sometimes you won't hear back. It's like, just send me just a short email. Yes, I got your offer.
Right.
It just makes people feel heard, which makes people feel good.
Yeah.
So
what are some of your success habits?
some of my success habits.
Do you have something you do? Like
Yeah.
Get up in the morning.
Yeah, I do. Well, I don't. Not really.
I know not everybody has that. Some people are way better. Like me and Emily always say, we're gamers, man. We have a goal, but we can do stuff in the drop of a hat
Yes.
and have it rocket out of the park.
Yes. And one thing I would answer that question with is I've always had an ingrained sense of urgency, like time,
Yeah.
just ingrained, within.
Yeah.
There's two things you really don't get back at the end of your life, and one of them is obviously loved ones who have passed. Another one is time, your youth. It's 10:45 now, and the morning's almost gone. We're not gonna get that back. So it's important what you say yes to, and it's also important what you say no to. And I usually say no more than I say yes. But it's important to make most of the time that we have with everything that you're doing. That's kind of that's my motto. That's
Totally agree.
what I try and keep top of mind is, am I doing right now what I want to be doing? And if it's not, then I need to shift or say no,
Mm-hmm. And
So-
to build in that thought process too of what I'm doing, what I'm putting my energy to right now, is it going toward my focus that will make me happy, will check off all those boxes of things that I feel are important to me, whether that's your people want to make money, or they want to spend more time with their family, or they want to, so it's is that benefiting my purpose here of what I want to be doing in
Exactly.
there, right?
Yeah, exactly. And also time too. One side of it is, if emails come in or clients need things, I'm not a big one to hang out at happy hours and
Yeah,
different things like that. I just I like to get things done. Kind of like we're talking about with Melanie. You
right.
show up, you get it done, you respond, and at the end of the day, that's what makes me feel fulfilled and happy. I just have that sense of urgency.
Yeah.
Take action, get things done, and
Right. And I think you kind of naturally, over time, you kind of align with those people. So all of a sudden you start noticing, just organically it happened, that those people are in your space.
Yeah, you're right.
You know what I mean? Like you start associating with different people and you maybe go, that's really not my jam, I'm not gonna do that, but then something else opens up and you have created another relationship by being in a different space.
Yeah.
But aligning with those same goals, or not even goals, just the way you operate, like we said, like Melanie's very organized and, on it and all that, and you have the same kind of mentality, right? I would just want to get things done.
Yeah.
And then I can go sit.
Then I can go do what I want, do what I really want.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly, because that has to be done to move the needle forward.
Right.
So what mistakes do you feel that you have made along the way, either in life, business, whatever?
Yeah, you'd have to ask my wife. Joking. She's the best, Sarah. Hi. She's fantastic. This is one question I have trouble with because I really don't believe in mistakes. Unless you're a politician, in my opinion, you can't make a mistake because my kids, for example, if they make a mistake, that's the best thing ever because it's an opportunity, because it means, number one, they're trying. Right? They're
Which
trying.
is the first step.
Yeah.
Do it.
They're just do it. They're trying, and if they hit a roadblock or a mistake, that's an opportunity to learn, so you can shift and keep moving forward. So as long as you learn from the event, then it's an opportunity.
Right.
If you dwell on it, then it's a mistake. So I believe in focusing on what you can control.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Which I think we lose sight of a lot.
Oh,
There's
yeah.
so much out of our control, and when there's so much.
Mm-hmm. And if we focus on mistakes, what happens? That might lead into other mistakes. Those things, Tony Robbins says, what you focus on expands. So.
I just did something on that. Yeah.
Oh, you did?
Yep.
Yeah. So focus on learning from the opportunity, and then shifting course and moving on.
What was the hardest decision that you feel you ever had to make?
The hardest decision would most likely have been transitioning careers from being a pilot to being a realtor.
Big different move.
Big difference, yeah, a lot,
Huge difference.
huge difference, and a lot of different factors with that. But from the standpoint of what are people going to think? Because I went to my mom and I'm hey, I'm thinking about quitting this flying job. And she's like, what? And she's like, oh, I think that'd be a mistake.
There you go.
Sure enough, it was the best thing I ever did. And she's very supportive. But but that was the biggest transition from the known, right? As a pilot, I had a W-2 job where I had a paycheck coming in and everything. As a realtor, I didn't. And then my wife, we were expecting our son. So around this time when I made that change, so I was able to kind of double dip and fly at night and do real estate during the day, and just kind of test the waters as a realtor.
Yeah.
And then after about 6 months of the realtor stuff, I realized, hey, I got a couple closings that are pending, and I can quit flying at this time. So that was the biggest, probably, this life choice that I had to navigate through.
Well, that's a big one, especially when you're building your family, and
Yeah.
I mean that's some very important decisions in your life, right? That are happening all at the same time, because
Yep.
we need a livelihood. We need to, do those things that, make us be able to have a family and a house and
Mm-hmm.
our car and all that good stuff, but
Yep.
yeah, I can totally see why that would be a stressful
It really was. Yeah.
time.
And
for
it goes,
sure.
yeah, and it goes back to the youth thing. You know, you don't get back. We don't get back
Yeah.
this morning or yesterday, and I figured, hey, I'm 20, or maybe I was late 20s, early 30s, and if there's a time to make a change, it's now. So that,
Yeah,
you know, can always go back to what I was
Oh.
doing before.
totally.
So
What do you feel is some of the best advice you could maybe give to someone for life or in your profession?
yeah, the best advice I could give would be the best advice I ever received, which was from my father-in-law on my on our wedding day.
Oh.
With he said, he gave a speech. You know,
Oh,
he's a
no.
really good speaker, and he said, Dan, just remember, an airplane, you're being a pilot, an airplane gets its most lift in a headwind. And I thought about that, and it's so true, and it's a metaphor that applies to, you know, life on a daily basis.
Oh my goodness.
But an airplane, not to get too technical, but when you have something going against it, you know, headwind, strong winds going against the airplane, that's when it performs the best. That's when the wing produces the most lift and grows. And in life, I found that too. You grow and learn most when you're going up against things that are coming against you.
Oh.
So take those challenges as opportunities to fly. Really? I
Right.
mean, what else?
No pun intended.
No pun intended.
But yeah,
That's
truly.
so. That's the best advice I can give is take those headwinds and realize that you get the most lift and
That's
growth
awesome.
from, you know, from adversity, challenges, that type of thing.
So what is one change someone could make right now that would get them close? I know everybody's, you know, definition of success is different, right, and different path and whatever, but is there one thing that they could do right now that would just get them closer to what they feel their success is?
Yes, I think there's kind of a culmination of things, and one thing I would say people are attracted to is people that are, you know, happy and energetic. And the simple as it sounds, but the one piece of advice I could tell people is just to be happy. Just to be happy. I've learned that happiness is not something we get by something, you know, we achieve or down the road or so that. I think happiness is a choice. And when you're happy, you tend to attract others and things into your life that will make you even happier. So just choose to be happy.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yeah,
there's a lot of negativity going on right now in the world and this and that, but it doesn't mean we still can't choose to be happy.
Right, and what you emanate, you attract, I think,
What
too.
you emanate
You know?
is what you attract.
And that spin of, always having that spin of optimism in your thinking or mindset, or, you know, doesn't mean you have to be, you know, obviously there's bad things that happen and you're not maybe positive all the time, but to have that optimistic sense that it's gonna be better on the other side.
Oh,
you know,
100%.
it's things are good, like this too shall pass, your thing about the, you know, it's having that optimism to realize that.
Yeah, absolutely. My grandfather, he was like the epitome of just a very happy individual. You know, I don't think my mom ever heard him. She recalls hearing him yell maybe one time as a kid, but other than that, he would sign birthday cards, you know, like happy everything. And I live by that motto so much. I got it, you know, tattooed right here
Oh, I love it.
in his handwriting.
That's
Yeah,
amazing.
I heard one thing kind of stuck with me, like health is like the foundation. Health is the foundation, happiness is the compass, and then love is the destination. Like,
Oh,
just love, you know, love people, love what you do, and because, I mean, life's too short to do anything else.
Oh, exactly. And speaking of love, I hear you're a big dog guy too.
Yeah, yes.
You love your,
I do
dogs?
love dogs. We've got a big dog and a little dog.
Oh.
Some days I love them more than others, but dogs are great. They teach us to live in. Dogs don't dwell on mistakes. They don't dwell on the future. Dogs are always in the now.
Exactly.
Like what matters to them is what's right in front of them. I think we can learn a lot from that.
And unconditional love.
And going back to the love being the destination,
Yeah.
that's what dogs naturally are wired towards.
Oh,
So that's why
I just love it.
there are a lot of dogs are happy, just because they live in the now and they're unconditional. They give unconditional love.
I feel so good when I'm around Thor because it's just like all of that.
Yeah.
Like all of that
Right.
is sitting in my lap.
Allison,
You know, the love, the unconditional love, the just patience, the living in the moment.
Yeah,
You
it's
know,
a great reminder for all of
It's
us.
just such a fulfilling thing to just hang out with him.
Yeah.
It's so good. Well, this has been so good.
It's been great.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for the opportunity to stop by.
This was so great to talk to you and just learn a little bit more about you, Mr. Pilot and Realtor and
Well, you guys
dog
are.
lover and
Yeah,
all
I
of those things.
love what you're doing here. This is a cool concept, and yeah,
It's fun.
can't wait to tune into more. So
Awesome. Well,
Yeah.
thanks, Dan.
thanks a lot. Appreciate it,
And-
Nancy.
And that, my friends, is the secret sauce.